The Battle of Friedland was one of the most decisive battles of European history. Aside from Austerlitz, which I also have a video on, it came after Napoleon effectively destroyed most of the Prussian army at the battles of Jena and Auerstadt, and then fought a bloody battle at Eylau, which he technically won, but with high casualties. Anyway, in the lead up to Friedland, Marshal Lannes' reserve corps had been caught by the entire Russian army, who was trying to halt Napoleon's advance into what was eastern Prussia. Russian commander Bennigsen thought he could destroy this measly corps, which was not even like 20% of the Russian army. However, Marshal Lannes sent a message to Napoleon and had French skirmishers screen the main infantry as Lannes ordered his corps to slowly fall back under the Russian advance. By the time darkness fell, the Russians had advanced beyond the Allied River and now controlled Friedland. However, the French had escaped, and the first French reinforcements arrived that night, and when morning came, the battle began. The French had about 80,000 concentrated at Friedland, while the Russians only had about 55,000 men. Not only were the Russians outnumbered, but they had their back to the Allied River, which they only had 3 pontoon bridges to cross over. They also had the Mill Stream, dividing the army into northern and southern sections. Napoleon had no such disadvantages. At the start of the battle, the Russians launched an attack, trying to turn the French left flank at the village of Hendricksdorf, since Napoleon's army wasn't fully deployed. However, General Grouchy of the cavalry launched a counterattack and threw them back. In the south, the Russians attacked General Oudinot's corps in the Sortlack Wood. Oudinot did not have enough men to counter, and the Russians began to push him back. However, Napoleon had finally gotten his entire army together and deployed, and began surveying the battlefield. Seeing Bennigsen's terrible positioning in front of the river, he ordered an assault to take advantage of the Russians' disadvantage. Bennigsen, who was ill that day, seeing Napoleon concentrating his whole army, ordered a retreat. However, before Bennigsen's retreat could begin, Napoleon, at 5:30 p.m., ordered an assault with Ney's corps, who had helped Oudinot's corps to clear the Sortlack Wood from before. In the south, Ney pushed deep and came under fire from Russian guns on the other side of the river. Then, General Bagration's infantry of the Russians attacked Ney's corps and forced it to retreat. However, Generals Victor's corps from just behind came on Bagration's left, and its guns knocked out most of the Russian soldiers within minutes, hundreds even. As a result, the Russians under Bagration retreated towards Friedland. At 7 p.m., the Russians launched their Imperial Guard, or at least what qualified as their Imperial Guard in this term, their, grenadiers, I guess, to try and hold the southern flank. It didn't work, and now French cannons that were firing on Friedland had caused the city to begin to turn on fire, which created a trap for the Russians as they had to move through Friedland in order for them to reach their pontoon bridges. The rest of the French army in the north joined the attack, and the Russians suffered terrible casualties as they fled across the river. After the battle, the Russian army had suffered about 30,000 casualties, while Napoleon had only suffered around 9,000. The end result was yet another geopolitical shift in Europe. Russian Tsar Alexander III agreed peace with Napoleon at Tilsit. Russia gave up the Ionian Islands and also had the Duchy of Warsaw, effectively a French-Polish puppet, on their front lawn. They also became an ally of Napoleon, and they joined his continental system along with Prussia. Meanwhile, Prussia got utterly humiliated, losing its territories in the Rhine and having to become a French ally. It also lost land west of the Rhine too. After this, the Polish Duchy of Warsaw would be created and would contribute a lot of cavalry to Napoleon's Grand Armée, specifically his Imperial Guard, and would serve in a lot of other campaigns. Although Poland, having effectively been recreated in the Duchy of Warsaw, would also kind of annoy Russia. But anyway, that's all I have for the thing today. Have a great day. I'm not doing I have a bit of a cold right now, so I couldn't speak as well, but I managed to get this, I think, released today. You're either seeing this today or tomorrow. Thank you. I have a Patreon, which I have linked, I think, in the description, or I will link in the description. Thank you for watching so much. Have a great day.